What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Dugout Talk.
Stealing home.
Oh my goodness, that's home steal
Hey, we
attempt
did it.
and
We
one.
stole home. That doesn't happen too often, folks.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Dugout Talk. I'm one of your hosts, Tris McAllister. Joining me are the other two hosts, Red Sox minor leaguer Cooper Adams and Gettysburg College hitting coach Jason Kramer. For you guys that are new, we were Division I teammates at a small school in Maryland, and now we're trying to bring entertainment and knowledge about the game to you. So, playmakers, if you haven't already, Coop, tell them what they need to do.
Like, comment, and subscribe, and also check out our TikTok and Instagram.
Boom. Coop, you kill it every time, man. I absolutely love it.
My job,
If-
baby.
If you don't make it to the big leagues, we'll just put you on a bunch of different shows. You can be a broadcaster.
I'll be the
somewhere.
like, comment, and subscribe guy.
The
Just
audio clip.
you. So again, special guest. Obviously, talked about it last week. I love bringing the pro guys on, and that is the reason for this channel right here. So you guys get different perspectives of guys and their different journeys and different positions and what they're doing at the college level or pro ball. So joining us is ABCA Rawlings first team all region, all New England first team, Atlantic 10 all conference first team, and then career 304 hitter with 22 home runs, 28 doubles at URI, and then signed with the San Diego Padres and made it up to AAA this year and went 2 for 5. And that is Addison Kopack, baby. So appreciate you joining us.
2 for 5 of my life.
Kopack and I got the chance to play with each other actually in the NECBL and Mystic, and I would honestly call you the Mystic legend. I think you played, 33 years there?
I might have the all-time games record.
When I first got out there this summer, you were playing shortstop at URI, and then you were doing a little bit of the infield there, then you're playing first and catching for us, and I don't know, probably got some time in the outfield. I just thought
all over the place.
All over the place. And then I actually looked up that you got a pitching stint at Boston College and Arizona State and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
First out of the pen at Arizona State. Close game. That was pretty legit.
You had a save opportunity too, I saw, against Boston College. I don't know if you closed it out or what.
No, I got taken out, but it was first batter, dribbler to third base. Guy was a speedster, beat it out, and then second batter was actually Sal Frelick.
The call up. Bouncing ball the other way, backhanded by Riley. Tough play, and Sal Frelick. You've got your first major league hit. There's Arcia. Former Brewer goes to right center field. Long run for Perkins and for Frelick. Frelick does it again!
My pitching coach came up to me and he was like, this guy's pretty good. Like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to throw a fastball right down the middle. So I threw a fastball right down the middle.
As you should.
He shanked it in our dugout super late, and then he missed a curveball and flared it into left field, and our left fielder just dropped it.
Yeah, that's tough. But
that was absolutely awful.
At least you got to do it. I also did want to say though that you had the most electric celebration to me, anyways. Obviously, playing together, you had diabetes, and when you would hit a double, then you get to second base, and you pretend you had an EpiPen, and you put it into your quad. So,
What made you come up with that? That's my question. Just
I just
on the fly?
College, it was you see all these double celebrations going on. It started being a huge thing, and I was like, I need something that, it makes me stick out. And I didn't want to do one of those basic ones. And one day I hit a double and I slid into second base and kind of popped up really quick. And I was like, it's the first thing that comes to my mind. So I stabbed myself in the leg. And the first thing my teammates said when I got back to the dugout were like, were you injecting steroids? And I was like, no, dude, insulin. They're like, my head coach loved it. So it kind of stuck.
that's awesome. Speaking of steroids, obviously, you were a super strong guy. I realized that after you put a ball in center field off Kramer, you played in that league. Remember when the righty that was from Texas at Newport, I think his name was Daniel Blair or something like that.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You took
Up
him
in
dead.
97.
Yeah, and you just took him dead center, and I was like, holy crap, this kid's good.
Yeah, that's when I had the long hair, and I was just taking free hacks.
Talking about hacks, which I'm going to put in the clip, was your bomb at Washington, UVA, and Auburn. Absolute pimp jobs. Especially, I thought the one at Auburn, I don't know which one was the furthest, but that one looked like it got absolutely hammered.
Oh, yeah, all those were very angry hacks. I think that before I struck out on borderline pitches, so the next at bat, it was very angry hacks, and luckily I just connected.
You do any stare downs to the umpire, or just leave them be?
I think now in pro ball, it's kind of just like, come on, Gary, like what are those? But but college, it was just like you look at them, and I mean some of the league umps I had, but when we were away playing like the Pac-12 teams, or like I'm like really that was a strike, and they were like, oh yeah, that's right there, and I was like, yeah, all right, buddy.
I remember I always felt like, well, at least when I went to the NECB, I thought it was like competitive and stuff up there and played good talent. And I just remember getting more mad playing better competition because I wanted to beat those guys because it was good.
Yeah.
Like they give like 96 this far off the plate, and it's like
Yes.
you can't do that. Like hitting's already hard enough. You can't give this much off the plate, especially against 96 or something. So
Yeah, I
I
remember
sh-
getting the call from Tristan. Tristan's like, "These umps are giving 6 inches off the plate. I'm seeing 97. What am I supposed to do? I can't cover 20 inches of the plate.
Yeah.
Like, is that
The
possible?"
boys are trying to compete here.
Yeah.
well, I already couldn't hit the ball down the middle, so I really couldn't hit the ball 6 inches off the plate. So
I'm like, I hear you.
I apologized to an ump once. We were actually playing against Ocean State, was it, at
Yeah.
home, and I was just like telling him that was not a strike and stuff. And I came up next to AB and I was like, I'm sorry, just it got to me a little bit. I apologize. And they were actually kind of used to it, which I thought was kind of funny. He was like, nah, man, you're good. Like we understand. So
That's because they're not good. They know they're not good.
Well,
As a pitcher, I love them. I love them.
yeah, you do
Absolutely
gotta
love them.
We've had, a handful of pro guys on so far, but we haven't had a catcher yet. So I kind of wanted you to take us through kind of what the daily drills look like, or how are you preparing as a catcher? And for the younger kids who do want to, become catchers in pro ball or at a high level, what should they kind of be working on to put themselves in a position to play high level baseball behind the dish?
Catching is definitely one of the biggest transitions, like in kind of like not overall skill, but just like mentally. And I'd say that's like the biggest difference from, any of the levels, like the mental preparation that you kind of have to go through. And I'm sure Coop can agree, like some of the catchers in the Red Sox org, like I'm sure they talk to you and you're just like, oh my God, like how many hours of video did you watch? Like, how do you know this about the guy? But it's just like learning how they work, how they move, like what makes them successful, and kind of just being like a facilitator for their success. Like that's the big thing that they teach us, and kind of the big thing that you really have to get good at in order to, keep playing. So whether that's just like learning how to watch film, learning how to break down games, call pitches, like that's definitely like a really big thing that changes when you make that transition. And physically, I mean, biggest thing is just like receiving, 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 receiving. That's obviously like that's the number one thing. Like it saves the most runs. Like blocking and throwing are definitely super important, and you want to be really good at those. But if you're a good receiver, like they will get away with being a little bit worse at the other things. But moving the ball fast and bringing it back into the zone and trying to keep strikes. That's the big thing.
Yeah, I know, Coop. Do your catchers sit in on the meetings with you, Cooper, and Pro Bowl?
Oh yeah. Every meeting that we have, they sit in. It was kind of funny too because both of our catchers this year in high A were from Latin America. So it was a blast sitting down with them and going through everything. I love those two, Ronald Rosario and Lira. Enderso Lira. I always struggle with his first name. But it's no, the knowledge that you guys have, on number one, the game itself. You guys are the kind of the general of the field. They love to say that the shortstop is, but really it's the catcher. Could you run me through kind of, especially as the season goes on, the wear and tear on your body has to be a ton. Obviously, it's a ton as a pitcher. So, what do you do to kind of mitigate some of the issues that you've had throughout the season? Soreness, tightness, any things that have kind of come up as you have gone through the season?
Yeah, for sure. Me personally, it's a lot of first of all just like load management, like being smart with my body. Like if I'm having a day where say my energy is at like 30%, I'm not going to go and do all these like high intensity like lifts, throwing, hitting. Like I'm going to take it a little bit easy. I'm just going to get my work in, get my routines in, like get what I need to do to feel good. But I'm not going to like take it the next step versus the days where, I have a lot of energy and I'm feeling really good. Like those are the days where I might get a little bit of a heavier lift in. Like I might, take a little few extra swings, like go through a little bit more of a throwing progression. Going to see the trainers whenever I can, get soft tissue work, like do mobility work on my own.
Yeah, and
Are
staying
you
staying hydrated as well.
Yeah.
I actually
Oh my God.
have a funny story with this because we had a catcher got drafted this year and he came up with us at the end of the season. So we're in, I believe, Winston-Salem, and I'm
Hmm.
walking up. We had a rain delay that day, and we go up and there's just two things of water, gallons of water just right by this guy's door. I'm like, huh, I wonder whose door that is. Guy opens it up. It's the catcher that just got drafted, and he's like, dude, I need to get hydrated, man. I got a game tomorrow. I'm catching, like I gotta stay hydrated.
Even more so with catchers, like the trainers will be in the dugout during the game, like making sure I have like electrolyte packets and Gatorade and whatever I need.
I kind of want to take a step back real quick. I know you said that the receiving is like super important.
Yep.
So for anybody that is watching this video and wants to get better at receiving, are there certain drills that you do daily that, could help those guys improve on that?
Yeah, I think two big ones that kind of, you know, I'd say stepped up my receiving is a lot of people like kind of just when they start receiving, like just hold the ball still right when they catch it. But what I like to do right when I start is just literally just rip through the pitches as fast as I can. Kind of just teaching the body like how to move fast through the ball. And then kind of transitioning to that, I'll take like a J band, Jigger band, and I'll put it around my wrist and I'll have it like I'll work against it and I'll have it pull me in certain directions, like working against it to work on my strength through the ball and having it pull me away from the ball so I can work on stopping the ball fast too. Really, honestly, it stepped up my receiving a lot.
Absolutely. Another thing, obviously, you talked about that you're kind of still moving around in pro ball, and
Yep.
Kramer and I actually, when we were at Patrick Henry Community College, got to know a catcher in the minor league system and stuff, and just moving to first and the DH role and stuff like that. How important is it for a catcher to learn the different positions? Is it that important? Is it something they should be working at through the off season, or just kind of focusing mostly on the catching and kind of dribbling in a little bit of first base work, or what?
I mean, I know this is what it's done to me. It increases your value so much because like the pro ball season is, I don't know, 100, 20, 130 something games, even more sometimes. And like you're not going to catch close to any of those. But being able to, on those off days, like fill in for guys that need rest days, like whether it's at like a corner outfield spot, corner infield spot, like you get more ABs, you get more playing time, like you get more time to prove yourself, and also like keeps you athletic for catching, which I think is a huge thing. So definitely like increases your value because the most valuable thing you can do is be on the field and play.
Do you like more DHing than you do first base?
I honestly, I hate to DH. I'm so
Really?
I hate it. I know a lot of guys like they're like, oh, like here's my like physical off day. I just get to go up there and mash. But like I'm a guy that loves to just like I love moving around. I love playing the game. So it's like I hate to like if I have a bad at bat, I hate to just sit there and just like be in an empty dugout and just wait. But I'd like to just, go on the field and go make a play or go run around, get my energy out.
Yeah. I feel like it's easy to like if you have a bad AB, then you got to go play defense, and if something happens on
Yeah.
defense, then you get to go back to offense. So a little bit about obviously the offense side, absolute stud, which we mentioned earlier at the plate. So can you kind of just talk us through what maybe the Padres' philosophy is on the hitting side, and then maybe what you think in the box?
Yeah, I mean, Padres' philosophy, I think, is, kind of similar to a lot of clubs, I would imagine. They really preach like you want to be a complete hitter and kind of like, training wise, focusing on what you're lacking. Like, so there's guys that have a lot of barrel accuracy, but not a lot of bat speed. So those guys might want to work on bat speed. It's you want to hit for power, you want to hit for average, and, two strikes, like you really want to battle. They don't really want to, have a lot of strikeouts. But personally, I think, my approach in the box is kind of similar with that, but it kind of really plays off of, the pitcher on the mound. And my philosophy can kind of really change based on that. Like if it's a guy that throws really vert fastballs versus a, sinker sweeper kind of guy, it'll really drastically change what I'm kind of do. But, a lot of times, like, I'm a big thinker and, like, I'll go up to the box and I'll be, like, thinking about all these things. But a lot of the time for me, it's like I said, like, I take those angry hacks and I end up hitting home runs. Like, a lot of the time, yeah, a lot of the times I just need to tell myself, like, all right, like, I did my routine, like, I did all my stuff. Like, I know I'm prepped for the game. Now I just need to know, like, all right, I know what he's throwing. I just need to sit on a pitch and, just try to destroy it. And usually that's kind of what works best for me.
So you do sit pitches?
I think honestly, like, I know a lot of people don't agree with this, but I think at a certain point, like, you got to start, like, taking some chances.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
just every time you get up there, just taking that chance and kind of selling out, or because I know obviously a lot of philosophies people were thinking sit fastball, react off speed, but are you getting up there thinking like, hey, this guy, his slider's best pitch, so I'm just going to sit slider here?
Yeah, 100%. And we, like, in the dugouts, we'll have, like, usage charts. So it'll be like, all right, like, in this count, like, this guy's like 80% slider. And it's like, all right, like, I'm going to take a chance here and sit slider and try to do some damage. But I think that's a good way to, like, ambush some pitches and get a little edge when you need to.
Absolutely. Kramer, obviously you're the hitting coach and stuff like that. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I think more big leaguers probably sit pitches. You see a lot of guys will take fastballs right down the middle and be completely okay with it.
Yeah.
I think that's more of a thing. Like as you get up there and the pitching just gets better and better, you can't like just sit fastball, react slider because I mean, some of the pitches out there are just nasty. So it's like you can't do that. So like you said, the scattering reports are super big. He's 90% slider, and that 10% he gets a fastball right down the middle. You just take it and chop it up to percentages. So I actually do have a question about pitch calling. I know a lot of college teams, their pitching coach or someone will call the game for you. Was that the case for you? And did you have to like learn how to call a game in the pros, or were you allowed to do that at URI?
So I didn't really even like catch a ton at URI. And the times that I did catch, we did have our pitching coach calling the game. But I think, I kind of studied the game a lot and, I took a lot of that in consideration when I was hitting in college. So I think I had a pretty good sense of like how to call the game. So I kind of smoothly transitioned to calling the game in pro ball, but definitely like a lot of niche things that I had to learn that I didn't really have a full understanding of once I got into pro ball.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting. Like you see so many guys and so many pitching coaches have like control of that and they go into pro ball and they're like, I don't even know how to call a game. Like, because that, I mean, it's a real thing. Like you gotta, like you said, put in the video hours and you gotta really do these scattering reports. And a lot of these college guys don't know how and what to look for because they've never been taught. Do you think it's a very valuable skill if you're like a high schooler and, for a coach to allow freedom for their players to be able to call games and learn from their mistakes? Because a lot of the coaches are like, hey, why'd you call that pitch? But I think you have to learn through that failure to be able to get better at calling pitches.
Yeah, 1000%. And calling pitches is, I know like coaches in the dugout are right there, but there's something about like pitcher and catcher and, you can see things that the coaches can't see. And, there's a lot more feel involved, like seeing the hitter right in the box. And honestly, one of the big things that is preached in pro ball for catching is game management. And a big part of that's pitch calling. A big part of that's like knowing how to get out of certain situations by calling certain pitches or pickoffs or slide steps or anything like that. Just your ability to manage the game and manage the pitchers. So, I mean, if you don't really know how to call pitches or you never have, that's going to be really tough.
I think it's also huge too as a pitcher. I mean,
Yeah.
me hopping in from college to pro ball, my whole entire college career, I was like this, looking for, the
Yeah.
pitch to come. And it's a different level. I mean, you see guys that have success in pro ball with stuff that you're like, okay, like they have pretty good stuff, right? But they just know how to manage a game and call a game for themselves.
Yep.
And then, them and the catcher are obviously on the same page with most of it. And that's something that within this year I've had to learn. I think one of the guys that I actually look at a ton is Trevor Bauer because he posts all
Yeah.
the content on YouTube of his thinking process of why he's throwing certain pitches and what he's doing to set up certain things. And I think it's very valuable information for kids, high school, college, anybody, even guys in pro ball to know, because you could have the best stuff in the world, but if you don't know how to throw it and don't know how to use it properly, you're not going to have as much success as you want. So I'm glad you touched on that, Kramer, and
Yeah.
all that, and just it's
So
very important.
how would you guys work together? Let's say, a trade happens or something, or you guys kind of get together and double A. How are you guys communicating, like, just to be able to have a good game? I mean, I don't know what goes into that, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, first off, it's knowing how he likes to call his game, like how he likes to throw his pitches, what counts he likes to throw his pitches in, and honestly, most importantly, like what is he comfortable throwing in certain situations? Because I mean, the best pitch you can call in a certain situation is one that he feels confident throwing. And I mean, like also knowing things like, does he like to tunnel his pitches? Does he like to use like, effective velocity to kind of throw hitters off? Like, what has he done in the past that had success? And also kind of like, how he feels that day. Like some days, like he'll be like, hey, like I have no clue what my changeup's doing. It feels like a foreign pitch right now. Like, let's try to work around that. Like, and certain things like that.
For sure. And even having a conversation, I think, inning to inning, that's
Yeah.
always a really big
Yeah.
thing, because you pick up on certain things. Like you said, after, the beginning bullpen, especially as a starter, beginning bullpen, you're feeling that changeup is just not there. And then
Yep.
after the second inning, you feel that pitch coming back. It's like, okay, well, you have to let the catcher know, because,
Yes.
you guys got to be on the same page with everything. And that's, it's interesting. I had some moments when I was in Arizona that me and the catcher were not on the same page. And that's
Hmm.
where it led to, the other guys getting walked or throwing the wrong pitch in the wrong
Yep.
situation. And it just shows, like, when you and the catcher are on the same page and understand what's going on, you're going to have a lot more success than you are failures.
Yeah. 100%. And I'm sure you felt like, when you get into that kind of groove with the catcher and you're on the same page and like you're controlling the flow of the game and you feel in control, and like that's the point where like pitchers are going to be dominant, when it's
Oh,
kind of like,
yeah.
yeah, you're on the gas pedal, you feel like you can throw whatever you want, and it's just like the flow game. That's why I love when the catchers are allowed to call the game and it's not the pitchers, because it's not like, all right, pause, check the wristband, throw a
Yeah.
pitch,
Little
pause,
also
like
game gets moving a little bit more.
yeah, exactly. And I like how you said like talking in between innings. Like that's something that I really love to do, especially because a lot of our job is so big on scouting reports.
Mhm.
Pregame meetings every single day. Pitchers and catchers get together and kind of go over, what the lineup is, like how we want to attack each hitter, like how each pitcher individually wants to attack each hitter. But to be honest, like the scouting report at the beginning of the game, like it usually never goes exactly as planned.
100%.
And
100%.
that's a big thing about like talking in between innings. It's like, all right, like at the beginning of the game, we talked about this guy, and he wasn't supposed to be able to hit a fastball in for his life, but he's on them now. So we're going to have to change the game plan for him, and we're going to have to attack him differently. So that's kind of how that like plays into like the flow of the game as well.
For sure. It's interesting too, because I think one of the best feelings as a
Hmm.
pitcher is when you have a thought of a pitch you want to throw and
And
the
they
catcher
throw it
puts
right
down,
down.
oh
Yep,
my, it
yep,
is the best
yep.
feeling in the world. The
Or you
absolute
ever,
best feeling in the
yeah,
world.
you ever do those like both of you kind of shrug at the same time, like maybe throw down a same side change up first pitch, you
Oh,
know?
yep.
Uh,
Yeah. Oh, it's the best feeling in the world.
one time this year, we were walking in from the pregame bullpen, and I was like, "Hey, dude, like, how funny would it be if we just start off the game throwing a changeup? Like, I think if you throw it right down the middle, it's gonna work." And threw it right down the middle, and the guy like sawed off his bat. It went right back to him, and he just starts laughing as he throws it to first base, and it was the funniest thing ever.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Playing pro baseball for the Padres, dream come true. What would you tell your younger self chasing that dream?
I think I'm pressure is all you did throughout your baseball career and like wondering where you're going to go next. I think I spent a lot of nights and, days worrying about like, oh my God, is it going to happen? Like, when is it going to happen? Like, is it going to happen the way I want it? I think just telling myself like the work I'm putting in is enough. And like, trust the process that I'm on, like know each day that I'm doing the right things and I'm making the right decisions and like, just be okay with what happens. And, one of the biggest turnarounds in my career was, and I started playing a lot better after this, is when I found myself being okay with the thought of like not playing baseball and like having that comfort. And I know that's different for a lot of guys. Like I know like some guys that's harder to say than others, but like being comfortable with a life not playing baseball kind of allowed me to, be free and play a little bit freer. So I wish I kind of realized that a little bit earlier. And that's like, I'm a really competitive person. So that like, that's a lot harder for me to do than like, I wish it was, but 100%, like, you gotta like, I know everyone has those games, like you go 0 for 4, like you want to snap a bat over your knee and like do whatever, but just know that the good days are coming.
Absolutely. That was power. That's freaking awesome. Do you guys have any other questions? You guys think of anything? Kramer, Coop?
No.
We hit on some really good notes.
Really good notes. Really good notes.
First pitch changeups.
That's going to be my entire year now. I'm just going to throw first pitch changeups.
Especially if you're starting on a Tuesday, pitch one of the series, first pitch changeup, or my favorite, the 0-2 fake shake, fastball right down the middle. It's an automatic take every single time. It's on automatic. Maybe not anymore since I'm saying it, but
maybe not. Yeah, you're giving away the information.
Yeah.
There's going to be some batter somewhere down the road that knows you're catching on some Tuesday, and he's going to say, 0-0 changeup. Lead off.
Yeah, you
bomb dead center.
Yeah. And as he's crossing the plate, I'll be like, you watched the podcast.
Dugout talk, did you?
Yeah. Good for you.
You deserve that one.
You also talked about not taking the game so serious. I did also see that you won an award this year about getting out in the community.
Yeah. We so my high A team, the Fort Wayne Tin Caps, we do a lot of, community work. We did a few hospice visits. We do a lot of kids camps. We do a lot of like just community events. Like we sign autographs every Sunday. And, that's something I like to take a part of. It's nice in the long season, especially like if you're struggling a lot, like with the game and kind of just the spot you're in, to go out and, get to some perspective, like see some kids play around on the field, like having fun, or, go visit some people that are a little less fortunate to kind of, revamp your spirits and give you a new lift going into the week.
Absolutely. I think that kind of plays into the thing, don't care so much about baseball. Like there's just so much bigger things than the game of baseball. And even though we do it day in and day out, like that going and helping someone out, giving a helping hand and, making a difference in the world is so much more important than the game of baseball. And, I thought about that so much growing up, wanting to play and watching these big leaguers and stuff like that. And you get here and you talk to the guys in pro ball and stuff like that, and they wouldn't trade any day in the base and then helping somebody out and being a good person and going back to, like you said, watching kids run around the baseball field. Like I was talking to my buddy who's in the big leagues with the Tigers and last week, and he's just like, we're talking about how much fun college was, and then just about how much fun being a little kid was and playing the game for the first time. Like that's so much fun, and I think you got to try to keep that the same. I think it was Curtis Granderson wrote like "have fun" in his hat when he was playing in the big leagues and stuff, and it's always just puts into a good perspective that the game is still just a game,
Yeah, no doubt. Sometimes you got to have that Sandlot mentality, like go out there and just play with a personality, like you're playing with your 8 best friends, and you're just having a good time.
Absolutely. So kind of breaking it down here, we always end the podcast with a Bible verse. So today we have Galatians 6:9. So let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. So who it is? Do any of you guys want to take that? Kopack, do you want to take it?
I got it.
Okay.
Well, it basically just ties in exactly what we were just talking about, giving back and trying to be a good person. I think we've, like we said, like, you can worry about baseball all you want, but at the end of the day, being a good person and giving back to the community is way more important than the game. And I think people get caught up in, they want to, be successful in their life, get to the big leagues and or whatever your goals are. But at the end of the day, if you're just a good person and you do what you need to do to help society and benefit society, you're gonna feel really good in your heart by doing stuff like that, and you're also, you're gonna give other people happiness as well. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters is being happy and enjoying time being around good people, and that's just life. And sometimes we get too caught up in it, and so like Addie said, like you gotta have perspective, and that's kind of what this means to me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that was solid. I think just take a step back, have some fun.
Yeah.
Obviously be a good person and continue to trust. I think the big one for everybody out there is just trust the stuff that you're doing and have that
Yeah.
faith in God and that belief that like, hey, like no matter what you're doing, no matter if it's baseball, no matter if it's things in life, you keep doing the things that you're doing, being a good person, doing the right things. I mean, things will work out. It might not be right now, might not even be in a week or a month, but like eventually it will work out.
You got anything,
Yeah.
Addie, Dad?
Yeah, 100%. I think one of the things that I kind of thought about is, one of the big things they talk about is being a good teammate and being a good person to the people around you. And there's a lot of people when you're playing baseball growing up or even pro ball that might want to see you fail or see you or not succeed. Like maybe you play the same position as them and you give up a few runs and they're like silently like cheering for that. But I think being one of those teammates that is grateful for other successes and grateful for their teammates, they will reap the rewards in the end, and you're going to end up yourself not only becoming a better person, but you're going to have more success in the field.
Absolutely. I always thought like why do you want to envy the people like around you? And I saw so many times growing up, I was probably a victim of it. You see this kid commit somewhere and you're like, he's not that good. He won't work out there and stuff. But like what good is that doing? Why you want those people to succeed, because like you said, in the end, like you are going to reap the harvest of spreading good. And I think Denzel Washington also said once, it's almost selfish when you do good for others, you're rooting for others, you're helping others because of the feeling that you'll get in return. And so I
Yeah.
think going through life that if you aren't in a good mood or you feel like, you're kind of lost, go out there and make a difference and help somebody because you get that purpose of making a difference in someone else's life. And I think that's honestly what life is all about. Serving others, helping people get through life. We're all struggling. Help those around you and building a great community. And when you're playing pro ball and in college, like Kramer and I are, the people around you are your community. So build them up as much as you can, whether you're playing 8U baseball, you guys probably aren't watching, but to the parents and, kids in high school and stuff like that, root for everybody around you and build a good community. And then you're going to have fun playing the game, showing up every day.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true, T Mac. I think too, people don't realize the relationships are one of the most important things that you get from playing sports and playing baseball. Like the people you meet along the way. I mean, I know guys that have stopped playing baseball a long time ago, and I'm still good friends with them. So just understand that like every teammate that you have, every person that you come in contact while playing this game or playing any other game, cherish those relationships.
100%. I think, Christian, you remember our great coach, Phil Orby, used to
Yep.
say at the couple of meetings that there's going to be a few guys here that you invite to your wedding. So,
Absolutely.
cherish those memories. They're your boys.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm getting married in September, and
Hey.
there's a list of people that I've played with. Obviously, these two guys will be on the list, so it's like those are your best. The people you're playing with right now, those are your best friends for your lifetime. And so, in the wedding, those guys will be there. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
We're happy for it.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations,
Appreciate
T
that.
Mac.
Yes, sir.
Phil, getting so old, man. Body's getting a little tired now. It's just like going up so fast. So Addy, I thought this was the best podcast, to be honest with you. No,
Don't gas me up.
I
Don't gas me up.
I don't want to put down our other people who've been on the podcast. They were great, but I thought we've just been getting better here at Dugout Talking. So
yeah, improving.
Absolutely. So we greatly appreciate you joining us, man, and the insight that you gave us. And we're wishing you the best.
Thank you so much. I loved it. Had a great time.
Absolutely.
Good luck this year.
Yes, good luck.
So, you too, dude.
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna be popping on our base tech, and I'm gonna be looking you up, and I'm gonna be watching the games for those change-ups.
Adam's gonna be sitting in bed one night, like looking it up, and just be like, "Coop, throw the change-up."
Throw the change-up, dude. What are you doing?
I'm gonna give it a silent fist pump.
Silent
fist pump.
I'm going to be completely honest. When spring training gets done and everybody reports the first game Cooper's throwing, I am going to be watching, and I'm just going to be like, change up. Please change up.
If you're a betting man, take a change up. Take a change up.
I want to see Coop shake.
Please.
You didn't say that. You didn't say that.
I didn't say that.
I want to see Cooper start shaking all through the pitches just to get to the changeup. Yes. The change like the last pitch, and he's just like, no.
Even the catcher goes, dude, throw the fastball here. He keeps putting it down.
No.
Like, no.
Yeah, I do this a lot. Like, passionate pitch caller. So if I'm really like assuring on a pitch, I'll throw it down, and then the pitcher will shake, and I'll give them like that death stare, and I'll throw it down a little angrier.
I had a couple of those this year where I shook, and my catcher looked at me and was just like, I was like, yeah, all right, fine.
Did it work? Did it work out?
It did work out. It did work out.
All right, good.
It did work out. That was always the good thing. I don't think I've had one that hasn't worked out. So I guess give your catchers credit. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. There you go. That's the message from the podcast. Give your catchers some love.
Yes, that is the big message.
Have you seen the Little League?
We're sweating back there.
Have you seen the Little League World Series where the guy's smiling, he shakes his catcher, and then just hits a bomb off him dead center?
I met that kid.
Oh,
no way!
I met that kid.
Isn't he in Pro Ball now? I've heard he's either in Pro Ball or he's in college somewhere.
But he was I think Mancini.
Where'd you meet him?
I honestly forget, but I met him. I think it was at like a gym somewhere.
Yeah.
And someone told me that was like that kid, and I was like, dude, like, what did it feel like going viral for that? Like, you looked like a fool.
Getting a bomb absolutely hit off you. So
yeah, it was so confident. He was like,
yeah, it was
nuke,
dude. So, Cooper, to all the playmakers who haven't already, what do they need to do?
Like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our Instagram and TikTok as well. Probably in the next couple of weeks, we'll be doing some more questions, so be on the lookout for that.
Boom.